Stop. Do not scroll past this. I want you to look closely at the image on your screen. What do you see? It looks like the ruins of a medieval fortress in Europe, doesn't it? You see the heavy, stacked stone blocks. You see the massive structural archway. You see the gray mortar holding it all together. Now, let me tell you the terrifying truth. This is not Europe. This is not Rome. This is Rockwall, Texas, and it is buried 40 feet underground. According to every history book you have ever read, this structure should not exist. We are taught that 20,000 years ago, North America was a wilderness, inhabited only by simple hunter-gatherers using stone spears. But beneath the feet of modern suburban families, beneath the shopping malls and the courthouses, there lies a massive stone wall that encloses a staggering 20 square miles. And the builders? They weren't us. In 1886, a local newspaper reported that diggers found a human skull embedded in the wall. But it wasn't normal. It was 4 times the size of a modern man. Tonight, we are exposing the Smithsonian cover-up. We are digging up the metal artifacts, the giant bones, and the forbidden architecture that proves a high-tech civilization of giants ruled America before the Ice Age ended. The mystery begins in the year 1852. The American West is still wild. 3 farmers, T.U. Wade, B.F. Boydston, and Mr. Stevenson, are digging a well. The ground is hard. They are desperate for water. They dig down 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. They expect to hit bedrock. Instead, their shovels strike something hard and flat. Clang. They clear away the dirt, but what they find stops them cold. It is a wall, a perfect vertical wall of stacked masonry. These weren't random cracks in the earth. These were sandstone blocks cut into heavy rectangles stacked in perfect layers, and between them, a distinct layer of gray mortar that looked chemically engineered. They kept digging. They followed the wall deeper into the darkness. It didn't end. As they excavated, they realized the scale of what they had found. This wasn't a small foundation. It turned corners at perfect 90-degree angles. It had structural buttresses designed to support massive weight. It had openings that looked like square windows or drainage ports. As the town of Rockwall grew over the next century, residents kept finding it. A farmer plowing his field hits a stone arch. A construction crew digging a foundation hits a massive corner joint. When researchers finally mapped it out, the scale was terrifying. This wasn't a small outpost, it was a rectangular enclosure covering 20 square miles. That is larger than the ancient city of Babylon, larger than Manhattan. Who built a megalithic metropolis in Texas thousands of years before history says civilization began? But the stones are just the container. The real horror lies in who was found guarding it. In 1886, the local newspaper, the Rockwall Success, published a report that should have changed history. Workmen excavating a section of the wall unearthed a human skull, but the proportions were wrong. The eye sockets were massive. The jawbone was thick and robust, large enough to fit over a normal man's face like a helmet. Based on the measurements, this being stood over 9 feet tall. And this wasn't an isolated incident. All across the American Midwest in the 1800s, newspapers reported finding giant skeletons in burial mounds. In Texas, they found them near the rock wall. So I have to ask you, where is the skull now? Did it go to a local museum? No. According to local records, the bones were packed into wooden crates and shipped to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. for study. And that is the last time anyone ever saw them. Why? Why would a museum hide the greatest discovery in human history? Because if they admitted that a race of giants built massive stone cities 20,000 years ago, it would destroy the official timeline of evolution. It would mean the land wasn't empty. It would mean history was a lie. So they likely threw them into the incinerator or buried them in the deepest basement of the museum archives. They labeled the rock wall a natural formation and closed the case. They erased the giants to protect the textbooks. But bones can be destroyed. Technology is harder to erase. In the 1850s, miners found artifacts embedded inside the wall that defy all geological explanation. Item 1. A metallic disc. It was found embedded deeply in a piece of the stone wall. It was corroded, ancient, and clearly manufactured. Item 2. Metal rings. These were composed of a strange alloy containing tin, titanium, and iron. Let's look at the science here. Titanium is a modern metal. It requires extreme heat and advanced chemical processes to refine. Archaeologists tell us that the ancient tribes of Texas were using stone arrows. So, who was smelting titanium in Texas 20,000 years ago? This is what researchers call an out-of-place artifact. It proves that the builders of this wall were not primitive hunter-gatherers, they were industrial engineers. For decades, the official explanation from mainstream science has been sandstone dikes. Geologists claim that ancient earthquakes cracked the ground, sand fell in, and nature accidentally made bricks. That sounds plausible until you let an architect look at it. In 1996, architect John Lindsay conducted a study. He went underground, he touched the stones, he noted three things that nature simply cannot do. First, the arch. He found a structural archway. In architecture, an arch is a complex design meant to distribute heavy weight. Sand does not randomly fall into the shape of a load-bearing arch. Second, the mortar. He found a clay-like substance between the stones that was chemically different from the stones themselves. It resembled the mortar used in Inca masonry in Peru. Third, the windows. He found square openings. Nature creates curves. Nature creates fractures. Nature does not create perfect squares. Lindsay's conclusion was chilling. He stated this was evidence of a prehistoric structure built by man. He compared the masonry to the walls of Sacsayhuaman in Peru. This isn't geology. This is lost technology. The evidence gets even stronger. When researchers mapped the perimeter, they noticed something impossible. The wall is not random. Sections of the wall run perfectly east to west. Other sections run perfectly north to south. The structure aligns with the summer solstice. This is the same alignment we see at the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is the same alignment at Stonehenge. Ancient builders used architecture as a clock. If the rock wall is a natural formation, it is the most coincidental rock in the history of the universe. Or it is proof that a global civilization with advanced astronomical knowledge existed in Texas long before the Ice Age ended. So, if a massive city of giants stood here, where did it go? Why is it buried under 40 feet of mud? The answer lies in a global cataclysm known as the Younger Dryas. About 12,800 years ago, evidence suggests a comet fragment hit the North American ice sheet. It vaporized the ice instantly. It sent a wall of water, a mega tsunami, rushing down the continent. It wiped out the mammoths, and it wiped out the mysterious civilization that built this wall. The flood waves smashed the buildings, it drowned the giants, and it buried the entire region in a thick layer of heavy clay and marine sediment. This is why the wall is underground. It wasn't built underground, it was buried by the apocalypse. We are literally walking on top of a pre-ice age grave. So why won't they excavate it now? Why isn't this on the front page of every newspaper? The answer is money and fear. The ruins lie directly beneath the modern city of Rockwall, under the county courthouse, under the elementary schools. To excavate this site properly, the government would have to bulldoze the entire town of Rockwall. Billions of dollars in property would be lost. But the academic cost is even higher. If they dig this up, they have to admit they were wrong about everything. They have to admit the giants were real. It would destroy the careers of thousands of historians who have spent their lives teaching the official narrative. So they bury the reports. They hide the skulls. And they tell you it's just cracked rocks. Today, a small section is on display at the Rockwall County Historical Foundation. The stones are pale, heavy, and silent. They are the tombstones of a lost world. The wall is waiting. The metal discs are waiting. The truth is trying to break through the surface. Thank you for watching The Obscured Past. We are digging where others are afraid to look. If you believe the history books are hiding the truth, destroy the subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Now, I have a final question for you. If you dug up a giant skull in your backyard tomorrow, would you call the government or would you hide it before they came to take it away? Let me know your theory in the comments below.